स्टैंडर्ड पाथवे में बेसिकली जो फर्स्ट स्टेप होता है, ये कैसा रहा आपकी जर्नी में, जो है बेसिकली जो डॉक्यूमेंट वेरिफिकेशन वाला?
Yeah, so like for me it was
तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट का एक क्वेश्चन होता है, क्या एएमसी पार्ट 1 करने के बाद में क्या जॉब मिल जाती है या नहीं, मतलब कौन सी जॉब मिलती है? और दे कंप्लीटेड देयर एमबीबीएस इन देयर होम कंट्री बैक, नाउ दे वांट टू डू पीजी इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, so what are the steps for them need to take?
yeah. So if you want to pursue residency here, then
So hi everyone, welcome to you academically. This is Dr. Akram here. So today we have Dr. Swapnil Sharma is here. So उन्होंने जो है MBBS MD किया है इंडिया से, गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल कॉलेज से, पुणे से, और उन्होंने जो है ये AMC एग्जाम पास किया है और उनको जॉब भी मिल गई है AMC के बाद में। तो हम आज पूरी जर्नी उनकी जानेंगे कि इन्होंने कैसे किया, और आपको बहुत सारे जो है सीख भी मिलेगी कि आप लोग इस जर्नी से क्या लर्निंग कर सकते हैं, और आपको ये लर्निंग जो है कैसे हेल्प कर सकती है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, आप इफ यू वांट टू बिकम ए डॉक्टर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया। ठीक है। हाय डॉक्टर सपनल, हाउ आर यू?
hi Dr. Akram, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, Dr. Swapnil, if you can give us, like your brief intro about yourself, your education, so far your experiences.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Dr. Swapnil. I basically did my MBBS from India. That was long back in 2015 when I completed MBBS. I completed internship in 2016. Then I prepared for NEET PG for a year, and I got the rank. I took up post graduation in MD pathology in Pune. I completed that. I also worked for an year over there to complete the PG bond, and then because I was married, so I came back to Australia. That was in 2021. So that is my professional background back in India. And when I came over here, I was unsure whether, because I had some research already done.
बट आई हैव सब क्वेश्चन। बहुत सारे जो बच्चे एमबीबीएस करते हैं बेसिकली इन इंडिया में, लाइक तो सबका बेसिकली जो भी ड्रीम होता है कि उनको क्लिनिकल ब्रांच ही चाहिए, है ना। और इंडिया में इतना स्ट्रगल भी है, इतना इजी तो है नहीं आपको
Yeah,
क्लिनिकल ब्रांच मिल जाने का।
correct.
तो आपको
Definitely.
पैथोलॉजी मिला तो आपने प्रैक्टिस किया था इंडिया में, या आपने एकेडमिक्स में आप चले गए थे? क्या किया था आपने वहाँ पर एमडी के बाद में?
No, I practiced like after doing MD, because there is PG bond as well in India. So I was bonded to serve for an year to Maharashtra government. So I worked for an year over there. It was not just academics; it was a proper as an assistant professor job in India.
ओके। जब आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आ गए शादी के बाद, आई मीन देन आपने ये एएमसी का कैसे जर्नी रहा, मतलब हाउ यू चूज कि आपको एएमसी करना है या नहीं करना है? बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन भी हैं,
Yeah.
बहुत ज्यादा टफ एग्जाम होता है, लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं बेसिकली।
So I would say, like, if you ask me my journey, I would say I researched, but because the things are very tough or very different from what we used to do in India. There is a lot of material available on internet and other platforms, but to understand that and to grab actually what it means, it's difficult. So I researched and I found out that there are two pathways. One is a specialist pathway and the other one is a standard pathway. Somehow I chose the standard pathway because I thought that specialist is another thing. We'll talk in details about that later on, but yeah, I chose standard pathway. I researched like what is the standard pathway, what are the exams, and what after the exams, what are the materials needed. And yeah, it took me like around an year, if I say. Like, I started researching for this when I was back in India, like before I have arrived over here. So I researched and then
तो गाइस
yeah.
हमने पूरा रिसर्च कर लिया है अब एकेडमिकली पे, आपके लिए तो आपको इतना स्ट्रगल नहीं करना पड़ेगा जितना डॉक्टर स्वप्निल ने किया। 1 साल इनको फिगर आउट करने में लग गया कि एएमसी
Yeah,
क्या
and
होता है ना।
you know what the thing is, like, because the processes are totally different. Exam is conducted by a different body,
Yes.
registration is given by a different body, and employers are a total different thing. And there is no connection between three things going on. And then there is another body which is verifying your credentials. So it is a pretty confusing process. If you're taking 3 months also to understand the process by yourself, I would say no harm, because it is a tough process. Yeah,
तो बेसिकली
definitely.
हमने आपके लिए बहुत ही इजी कर दिया, सॉल्व कर दिया है, बिकॉज ये सारा जो प्रोसेस है हम आपकी हेल्प करेंगे कंप्लीट करने में। तो आपको कोई भी स्ट्रगल नहीं करना है, जस्ट डे 1 से आपको एकेडमिकली का जो कोर्स है वो ज्वाइन करना है, और आपकी जो जर्नी बहुत ही स्मूथ रहेगी। तो जितनी स्ट्रगल इन्होंने अपनी लाइफ में करी, तो उसके हमने ईजी करने के लिए हमने बहुत सारा काम किया एकेडमिक, वो हम लोग बाद में डिस्कशन करेंगे। पर सब ये होता बताइए कि जैसे कि आपने एमडी किया हुआ है, तो वाई यू नो बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि भाई हमने तो एमडी या एमएस किया है तो हम लोग तो जो है स्पेशलिस्ट पाथवे पर ही जाएंगे, और हम लोग क्यों जाए स्टैंडर्ड पाथवे, हम तो एमबीबीएस नहीं है, हमने तो एमडी कर लिया, एमएस कर लिया। तो आपके
Correct.
पर्सनल जर्नी में या आपके जो लर्निंग से आप थोड़ा सा बताइए।
Yeah, so the thing is, there is no harm applying for specialist pathway if it qualifies your training. The thing is, it is not like as in India, it is not just one process. Like you give an exam, a post graduation exam, and there is one body who is conducting a counseling on your merits, and you're given specific colleges. The things are different over here. If depends upon what kind of specialist you are, you have to apply for that specialist college. So if you are from a psychiatrist background, you will apply to that college. If you are from medicine, you will apply to RSC, Royal College. For pathologies, there is Royal College. For surgery, again another. So there is not just one standard thing which I can say over here that if you have done this, you are qualified for that. So no, if whatever kind of specialist you are, you have to go to that particular field, search all that what is required, whether you are eligible or not. And then there is a long process beyond that. Even if you think you are eligible, then you have to apply that documentation and process to that particular college. That particular college will assess your credentials and documents, and then depending upon that, they will schedule an interview for you, and then they will tell you what is the outcome, whether you're comparable, not comparable, partially, substantially comparable, and then the process ahead. So it is a long process. So if you are in India and you're a specialist and you have 5 to 10 years of experience, maybe it's a good try to start doing that in India itself, so you can be sure that you have that assessment done, and then you can come over here. But because I was already here after just completing my post graduation, so I was not sure whether I will be I should or shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Yes, basically if you just a fresher, आपने 1 साल में 2 साल में आपने पहले पीजी किया, तो होपफुली मतलब बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है, आज मैं कहूँगा बहुत ही लो चांस रहेंगे कि आपको मिलेगा। पर अगर आपको एक्सपीरियंस है लाइक 7 to 10 years, आपका बहुत ही एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सीवी है, अपार्ट फ्रॉम योर जस्ट पीजी, आपने कुछ रिसर्च भी किया है, कुछ पब्लिकेशन भी हैं, या आप टीचिंग कर रहे थे किसी हॉस्पिटल में, तो बहुत सारी और भी जो फैक्टर्स हैं वो इम्पैक्ट करते हैं आपको, अगर आप स्पेशलिस्ट पाथवे पे अगर आप जाना चाहते हैं। अदरवाइज आपको स्टैंडर्ड पाथवे पे जाना ही पड़ेगा, जैसे कि डॉक्टर स्वप्निल ने चूज किया।
Yeah, so like I would say it's actually depends on individual candidate. Even if you're a fresh graduate, it is a good choice if you want to give it a try. It's up to you. No one can stop you. It's up to you. You can actually choose both. Like just apply to your colleges and you can start preparing for AMC through standard pathway, because ultimately you have to get your credentials verified. So you can do both. But if you do not qualify for specialists, your another ultimate option becomes your standard pathway only.
या
So that is the
I'm just
thing.
saying basically क्या राइट किया है, राइट वे में क्या उन लोगों को जनरली मिलता ही है, तो फ्रैक्चर को जनरली मिलता नहीं है। इवन आई डोंट नो एनीवन की कोई फ्रैक्चर आया, उसने अप्लाई किया, उसको मिल गया। हार्म नहीं है, आप अप्लाई करो, डेफिनेटली आपको अप्लाई करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप एलिजिबल हो, एप्लीकेशन के नहीं है, पर थोड़ा सा थ्योरेटिकली यू आर एलिजिबल, प्रैक्टिकली नहीं मिलता है।
Yeah, actually, the thing is, the basic factor is the financial cost, because everything over here, even a single pathway goes beyond 5,000 for every candidate, whether you're applying for a specialist or you're applying for a standard pathway. So it's for you to decide which one you want to, according to an individual. It actually depends. Everything in Australia depends on individual credentials. So no one can guide anyone whether to choose this or that. We can just tell, that these are the pathway. You see whether you fit for this or you fit for standard pathway. But ultimately, if nothing helps, standard pathway is the choice which can help everyone.
So now we can come back to the standard pathway. The standard pathway, I hope you understand. तो standard pathway में बेसिकली जो फर्स्ट स्टेप होता है, ये कैसा रहा आपकी जर्नी में, जो है बेसिकली जो डॉक्यूमेंट वेरिफिकेशन वाला?
Yeah, so like for me, it was a little bit easier because I had everything, like because I have done MBBS, I've completed internship as well. So I had the both documents which were needed. The thing is, it's only you have to just, gather that information, that which place you have to apply for. And after you have completed that EPIC verification, what are the other steps you have to follow? It is very well given on the sites, but still because we are immigrants, it becomes a little difficult for us to understand. But yeah, I did that. And actually I did it long back before even thinking of planning to give an exam, because I wasn't sure that my degree will get verified how quickly. Some places takes months to get it credentials verified, some gets in just 1 week. So that is also the thing. If you're planning for exam, just make sure that you get your credentials verified accordingly.
अराउंड नाउडेज इन जनरली 2 वीक में हो जाता है, तो इतना प्रॉब्लम
Okay.
नहीं, एकेडमिकली आपका हेल्प करता है इसको करने में। तो स्वप्निल, इसके बाद में जो है फिर आपने ये एग्जाम पास कर लिया, एएमसी पार्ट 1, राइट? तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट का एक क्वेश्चन होता है, क्या एएमसी पार्ट 1 करने के बाद में क्या जॉब मिल जाती है या नहीं, मतलब कौन सी जॉब मिलती है और कितनी सैलरी होती है बेसिकली? ये एक बहुत ही कॉमन क्वेश्चन है
Ye-
स्टूडेंट की तरफ से।
Yeah, and it is actually fair enough to ask these questions. I was so naive that I did not research this very well when I was back in India. But yeah, so I can give you the information. You can get job after AMC Part 1. It is not impossible. It depends upon the requirement. Everything here depends upon the requirement. So if there are requirement for doctors, if there is a short staffage and a shortage of staff, and if they are not getting enough candidates with AMC Part 2, so they usually prefer one with full registration. That you get after clearing Part 2. But if they are not getting sufficient candidates for that, you are the next one in the line whom they will pick. So yes, depends upon where you're applying, what is their criteria, are they ready to take Part 1 and train you. So it is variable, but generally the hierarchy is they prefer Part 2 candidates, and if they don't get it, Part 1 have a fair chance. It is not like that. It is a compulsion that you have to clear Part 2 to get a job. You can get a job after Part 1 as well.
तो आफ्टर पार्ट 1 ये कौन सा जॉब टाइटल ये लोग एलिजिबल होते हैं अप्लाई के लिए?
Yes, so it depends upon if you have already, like, internship is necessary to get into a job sector in Australia, because if you have not completed an internship, then getting into an intern position is very difficult, because they are already Australian graduates who are also applying for the same intern position. I won't say it is impossible, but it is fairly difficult because they have their local graduates also. So if you have already completed internship and you have 1 or 2 years of experience, then you start with junior medical officer. That is your post graduation.
आई कैन सिंप्लीफाई, अगर किसी ने एमबीबीएस इंडिया से किया है तो ऑब्वियसली आपने इंटर्नशिप तो किया ही होगा, राइट? तो उस केस में तो आपको, आपने एक्सपीरियंस भी है, तो आपको डेफिनेटली जीएमओ की जॉब मिल सकती है। पर इफ यू कंप्लीट योर एमबीबीएस फॉर एग्जांपल रशिया और चाइना फॉर एग्जांपल, और आपने वहाँ इंटर्नशिप नहीं किया था, तो पहले आपको इंटर्नशिप करना पड़ेगा और फिर आपको AMC 2 पे जाना पड़ेगा, राइट?
Correct.
तो ये जेएमओ की जो जॉब होती है, इसमें मतलब जनरली करना क्या होता है, मतलब क्या उसको प्रिस्क्रिप्शन का राइट है या नहीं डॉक्टर, मतलब या वो एक आरएमपी के अंडर में वर्क करते हैं?
So basically, here we have supervisions. So like there are level 1, 2, 3, 4 supervision, and it is very well described in the APRA registration form. So everyone can go there and read the level of supervision. So usually, if you have completed internship in back in your country, then you are eligible for post graduation year 2, which is your level 2 supervision. So what happens is you are under, so you're in a supervised practice, so someone will be there above you to supervise. But rest all the jobs, what is the role of that particular job? So whenever a job offer comes, there are roles given that what is expected, but it is usually the same as we do in India, like cannulation or taking care of the patient, communicating with the relatives, and all
जो
those
इंडिया
stuff.
में जो CRRI जो लोग करते हैं एमबीबीएस के बाद, वही यहाँ पे करते हैं।
It's almost like that only. If the jobs which we do as a junior medical officer in India, it is almost same. It is just that the protocols differ a lot, because here we follow the Australian standards, there we follow the Indian standards. That's all.
Yes.
And also sometimes if you have enough experience, like, because there are doctors who have 5 to 10 years of experience, then you might get a senior, depending upon your experience you get job. So you might get a senior resident medical officer. So in junior medical officer there are categories, like it can be a resident medical officer, a senior resident medical officer. Sometimes people with enough experience, they also get into unaccredited training positions. So it depends what level of experience you have. You can approach for the higher rank of jobs accordingly.
Okay, so there is a very common question the student ask from us, that they completed their MBBS in their home country back, now they want to do PG in Australia. So what are the steps for them need to take?
Yeah, so if you want to pursue residency here, then these steps are, you have to first take your full registration. That is, you have to complete AMC Part 1, Part 2, and after Part 2 you have to do a 12 months full supervised practice. That is what I was telling you about. You have to do a practice under supervision, which is of 47 weeks, and it includes 3 main rotations which you have to cover. So once you do all that stuff, then you're eligible for full registration. And when you receive your full general registration, then depending upon what specialization you want to pursue, every other specialty has their needs, and you have to give them those interviews, and maybe they require certain fields require certain amount of training before you get into it. So it is actually not same as India, that you give one more exam and you get into specialty. Here it is a different thing. So it depends upon what specialty you are trying to get in, but for everything you need full registration. So you have to do AMC part 1, part 2, 12 months of your supervised practice, and then you can get into residency.
So, just in India, we need to give like NEET PG exam, and then we will get the college and the branch based on the marks, right? In PG. But Australia में कि ऐसा exam pass करना पड़ता है कि after full registration, or just only the interview is enough?
I'm actually not too sure about the exams, but I think it depends upon what specialty you're going. There can be exam in it will not be a competitive exam, but there can be basic exams. It depends what specialty you have to go, or maybe not exams, but definitely I think there are certain amount period of training which a person need to have completed before getting into that specialty.
Okay, thank you, Swapnil.